Hi, my name's Brooke Hagerty. Welcome to today's episode of For the Love of Food. Well, the holidays are just about over. We've got New Year's Eve and Day coming up, and then we're finished kaput. Well, I don't know about you, but believe it or not, I've had my fill of the kitchen. New Year's Day, I don't think I really want to be in the kitchen. I think I might order out, but I'm going to want to start with a nice breakfast. So I thought, why not make an easy breakfast? As you all know, I'm not a big baker, but I like to try different things. So I'm always looking at things that I see on the internet or in cookbooks or on television shows about fun things you can do with prepared items already. So today we are going to do a cinnamon toast bake. I'm very, very excited about it. It's going to be easy, but we're going to add a little food chick twist to it. We're going to top it with some awesome Granny Smith apples that we're going to cook down in butter and cinnamon. It's going to be fantastic. So anyway, so I've got my packaged cinnamon rolls here. Whoop, making their grand escape. I love these things. I love how they escape out of there. When I was a little kid, we used to fight over who was going to pop it open and who could do it the best. So anyway, it was never usually me because I was the baby of the family. I guess I still am the baby of the family. But then I was really the baby of the family. So I've got these beautiful cinnamon rolls here, and we're just going to cut them. They cut easy, so they're going to have nice little pieces. Okay, and we're going to put them into our baking dish. Let's go ahead and get these into our baking dish. Before we put them into our baking dish, though, we are actually going to butter our baking dish. Over on my stovetop over here, I've got some unsalted butter that has been melted down, and we're going to use that melted butter also for our apple mix while our cinnamon toast is cooking. Cinnamon French toast. This is going to be wonderful. Very excited about this. You know, I don't eat a lot of sweets, but when I do, I want to make it count. And when I saw this recipe, my husband was laughing because he's like, "You don't really like sweets." I'm like, "I know, but when I saw this one, it sort of made me do a little bit of the happy dance." So I was excited to share this with everyone today. And as you know, I don't always practice my recipes before I go on camera. So this is one of those. So we're going to see what happens with not only following their directions, but adding my little add-on. So I've got some melted butter here. Again, I'm using unsalted butter. I've got a clear dish. We're going to make sure that we butter our dish. Your dish doesn't have to be clear. It just has to be a baking dish. It can even be a disposable one if you've got somebody's house to go to for brunch on a New Year's morning or any morning for that matter. This would be a fantastic thing for you to bring. It's going to be, I just know it's going to be delicious. And we're going to put these in here. Pop these in here. Cinnamon French toast bake. Yum. Wow. So we've got them lined in the bottom. I'm going to separate those a little bit. Those are nice. Now I've got some eggs. I've got 3 large eggs here. We're just going to whisk these up. And we're going to add some eggs. We're going to do 3 eggs. We're going to do about a half a cup of buttermilk. And we're going to whisk that all together. Let's whisk our eggs first a little bit. So, you know, I like to use local eggs whenever I can. They cost a little bit more, but you can always find somebody who's got local eggs all through the year, not just at the farmers markets. There's a lot of places in Carroll County, right here in Maryland, that you can get them from. If you just Google it, you'll be able to find a lot of places that you can do that. So I've got my eggs whisk. I'm using buttermilk here. The recipe that I originally found called for whole milk, but I'm a big buttermilk fan, especially when it comes to baking. I just think it adds a little bit of extra richness, especially when you're doing fake baking like I do. Fake it till you bake it. That would be me. Okay, so I've got my buttermilk in there. I'm going to take a couple of pinches of cinnamon. I know we already have some cinnamon in there, but just a little bit more to add a little extra zing. And then I've got some fresh vanilla here. I'm just going to do a little bit of vanilla. That's about a teaspoon of vanilla in there. Whoop. down my fingers it goes. That'll teach me to not use my measuring spoon. Again, not really a baker. So we've got our eggs, our buttermilk, our cinnamon, and our vanilla. It smells wonderful. Our nice fake it till we bake it cinnamon vanilla French toast. In the oven this is going to go. We're going to make sure it's all around. This is going to go in the oven for about 10 minutes. And while that's in the oven cooking, we're going to talk about apples. So let's go ahead and get this in. Now, I'm obviously doing a smaller recipe than you would normally do, but you feel free. This is a recipe that I think you could double, triple, even quadruple if you've got a really big pan and a big party. Fantastic, easy to make, nice little cheat. If you don't want to cheat with it, you can use puff pastry. I think puff pastry cut and rolled and then coated in cinnamon, and then you do everything else that we did would be absolutely fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to set my timer here for, 8 minutes, and we're going to see what it's looking like after 8 minutes. So while that's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut down my favorite apple, which is the Granny Smith apple. Not only is this a great apple for eating on a regular basis, this is one of the best apples that you can bake with. How do I know that? Well, I read about it because again, I'm not always baking, but I like to be an informed faker baker. Oh, I like that, a faker baker. That's what I am. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my apples down. It's going to be a nice crunch on here. We're actually going to use the butter that we had before. So this is going to be a very, very rich dish. We're just going to put our apples right into our butter and let them cook down. They're probably going to cook down for about 5 minutes. We don't want to cook them down too much because we want to have that nice crunch on there. So let me go ahead. I think I'm just going to use one apple in this, because I'm sure I can find something else to do with the other apple that I have, like eat it, which is apples are my favorite fruit. I really enjoy a nice crunch. And I remember when I was little, my mom put a little salt on there, or if she was making apple pie, she's from Vermont, a nice slab of cheddar cheese on top of your apple pie. Maybe we'll make that one day coming up soon. Maybe on my fake it till you bake it challenge for myself. Okay, let's go ahead and let's get these apples in here. Let's get this turned up. We're going to cook these apples down in this butter. Oh, and I think, you know what? I think we're going to add one more apple there. I'm going to let that cook. We're going to add a little cinnamon. Just a little cinnamon and a little vanilla. Again, just a dash of vanilla in there. Let's see, put a little more apple in there. You hear that sizzle from that butter. Boy, this induction cooktop that I bought last year, really, really happy that I bought this. It's really made my cooking time a lot quicker. It took some getting used to, so I'm not going to lie to you, the induction cooktop does. But it was definitely, definitely worth it. As I'm cutting my apples down, you see I'm using my nice little bear claw because we don't want to cut those digits off. I don't know if you've noticed too, my fingernails are changing colors. I had a manicure recently that when your fingernail goes on one color, goes on dark, and as your hands warm up, it changes colors. So it almost looks like a little ombre on my fingernails. It's been an interesting couple of weeks watching my fingernails. That's my little sidebar for the day. Other thing too, what are we going to do with our cores from our apples? Throw these out in your backyard for the birds and the animals. They definitely need them, especially this time of the year. Okay, here we go. These are going to cook down. It's going to be nice and chunky on top of our French toast bake, and we're not going to need syrup. So even though we're having we're having this very, very rich, decadent breakfast. We've got some apples going too, so you can sort of say that you're starting your new year off the right way with nice fruit for breakfast. Might be a little cheat on the fruit. Okay, a lot of cheat on the fruit. Well, also what we're going to do is this comes with icing. You know, our little package good comes with icing. If you're making these from scratch, you can make your own icing with a little confectionery sugar and water and just whisk it together to your desired consistency. And you're just gonna drizzle that right over. Take a look and see what this is like. I think I'm gonna grab a bowl while this is cooking. I'm gonna grab a bowl. I'm gonna grab my whisk. And I'm going to grab a little water. Whoop. And I'm going to add a little bit more confectionery sugar in there to make a nice little icing. So it's a semi-homemade icing that we're doing today. We've got about 3 minutes to go on our apples. While our apples are doing that, while our French toast is cooking, we got about 3 minutes left on that. I'm gonna turn my light on and do a little cheat. Oh, I gotta open up. Oh, it's looking good. I'm actually gonna turn my heat up a little bit to 425 and let that go. My apples are gonna cook down nicely. We'll put those down to a simmer. I'm going to take a little break and I'm going to whisk away on my icing. When we come back, we're going to have a fantastic New Year's Day brunch item for you. Okay, so we've been in here for now about 10, 11 minutes at 425. I did bump up my temperature a little bit on that. 425. While I did that, I also added a little confectionery sugar to my apples and butter and cinnamon mixture. And hallelujah, this is delicious looking. Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Look at that. Nice and firm. It's nice and firm there. So that's gorgeous looking there. I've got my apples that have been cooking in butter. I've got my confectionery sugar mix that I mixed along with my packaged stuff. But again, you can make this very simply with just a little bit of water and powdered sugar to your desired temperature. I'm going to go ahead and pull my apples off. I'm not going to use all the butter that is in this because it's, well, I guess I could if I wanted to. Okay, I probably will. I take my apples and my butter right down. You can hear the sizzle from the apples and the butter on there. Wow. Fantastic. Put this over here. I'm going to go ahead and drizzle some confectionery sugar, my little sugar mix. Oh, look at that, people. Tell me that doesn't say sinfully delicious. Let me grab a little plate here. Oh. Oh, look at that pull apart there. Fantastic. Again, no syrup needed because I've got my apples and my butter. So that's my syrup. You can always add more of that. Oh, I'm just going to dig right in. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Holy bejesus, Batman. This is really good. Wow. I'm very excited. Again, fake it till you bake it. Breakfast for New Year's Day breakfast with the Food Chick. My name is Brooke Hagerty. Thanks for joining me on today's For the Love of Food, and Happy New Year, everyone.